How's it going, YouTube? It's Ninja 7, your resident Mistweaver monk, and the other day I made a Chi raid guide, and this build is very unique in how it operates because as a healer, normally your mana is your resource, but here we are sacrificing that resource in order to game a trinket. So that video, a lot of people are still doubting. They still think Chi is a heroic only playstyle right now. They think Yu'lon is the only way to go in Mythic raiding. But I wanted to show you the kills that we've done since that video. So in the past, basically raid night of mine, we've killed a couple bosses, and I wanted to show you just how powerful this build is. So note, this is Mythic Larodar, a very hard boss to heal. Notice my mana bar, that's this little blue bar right here where my mouse is. I'm starting the fight purposefully below 25% mana to get that full effect of your trinket. You want to be able to have that maximum chance to proc your trinket, and I'm sure if you watch my buff bar, you'll see it proc very often. But Lumathar is a very, very good fight, actually, for... I really think this whole season has a lot of fights that are really good for this playstyle. Yes, they're very good for Yu'lon as well, or the caster playstyle. But this build really thrives because a lot of the damage, if you count the amount of people taking damage right now, it's 4 and then maybe like 2 halves of someone. So Ancient Teachings is doing a fantastic job of healing those people. Whoever gets tethered to the boss, Ancient Teachings just blast healing into. And you'll see we are kind of still trying to catch up with Nico. He does pop his cooldown on pool to set it up for later. I kind of delay my first Chi, that's why it just ended now. But from here on out, you're just going to see the true potential of just the baseline playstyle. So Chi out of the picture. All we have are these Crackling Jade Lightnings, our Thunder Focus Teas to heal, and our Vitality to convert into healing. So really this early part of the fight is just trying to, once these tethers come out, trying to match it with some HPS. So you'll see me kind of send my Crackling Jade Lightnings the moment those tethers come out. And this is like probably the only downtime of the fight, but that's why I saved Shayloon's Revival and a Thunder Focus Tea. Oop, walked right into that. That's why I saved buttons that I can press while I'm out of melee for that moment, because you do get forced out of melee on this fight a little bit. But really this whole like first half of the boss's health bar is just rinse and repeat, healing the same 5 people, and Ancient Teachings just does that so effortlessly. Also, I want to point out, a lot of people always comment like, why don't you show what spells you're casting on the screen? That is what this box is right here. So if you're wondering what spells I'm casting, in what order and who I'm casting them on, that is what I'm casting. So primarily you'll see like Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick every now and then. It's really much of the same. Also, those webs that come in, those big circles that you just saw kind of collapsing on the boss, you can kind of time your Crackling Jade Lightnings to maybe get some cleave on them, but I'm pretty sure they take like reduced damage if they're not hit by the tank frontal. But that is just something that I tried to do just in case, like maybe it gives me a little bit more damage to game. But here, this is my second and final Chi coming out of this phase. That will set me up to get like a delayed Chi coming into the first phase, because I know a lot of the other healers are timing their cooldowns to pop their cooldowns the moment we get into the big second phase, because that's the big scary part. But Chi also gets a ton of value here because I'm the only healer popping cooldowns. So you'll see I do kind of start phase 2, which is once he pops below 50%. Start phase 2 pretty good, pretty solid on HPS. And like I said earlier, phase 2 is the moment where you really do need all of your HPS. So I'm going to try to come into it with a couple resources, like maybe a Thunder Focus Tea, a Crackling Jade Lightning to kind of like buy time for my next Chi. But still, we have people soaking those orbs, trying to heal them up. Also, this healing profile, you never have to stop. You never stop healing. It's go, go, go. You don't have to sit there and sip Mana Tea, let your other healers snipe that healing while you're drinking. In fights like this, where there's constant tick damage on the whole raid, but like constantly there's like 5 to 10 people that have nasty dots on there. And you see our group just soaked the frontal, so there's constantly people that need like heavy healing. So it's just such a good... It's a good healing profile. It really is. And on top of that, like this build does so much damage. And I guess after each pull, I guess I could show you the log associated, just to kind of show like where it stacks. Because I think parses don't really matter. Honestly, I think parses don't matter at all. I don't really care about parses. But if you're someone that does and you want to see how this compares to literally the other 99.99% of people playing the Yu'lon build still, maybe that's valuable information for you. But you see there, I did get revival or restoral at the perfect time, right once the second group took the frontal, so then everyone's missing health. So pretty good revival, and now we're in our Chi-Ji for this next frontal, and we are just absolutely cranking. Always have some amount of healing ready, whether that's a Crackling Jade Lightning, Thunder Focus Tea, or an actual like big cooldown like Chi-Ji or revival. So this fight is just one, it's so powerful. It's so surprising how much healing you do with those harmonic surge heals. But two, it's so much fun, man. If you are someone who enjoyed playing Chi-Ji at any point, like I know a lot of my viewers used to love playing Mistweaver because of a Chi-Ji raid build. Like that's what got me into the spec. But you're just kind of like tired of season after season having to go back to Yulon. Even last season, I mean, Chi-Ji dominated at the first half, but then Yulon kind of took over, I guess. But you see here, we don't really have many cooldowns left. I'm kind of having to sit in that circle just to get the last few hits off. But yeah, you see there, ended the fight at 5.85 million HPS. We 4-healed, and that log was an 88 parse. Let's see. Let's get this pulled up. You'll see it was an 88 parse, so even an improvement over what we showed in the video. But let's get to the next. All right, moving on, we have Soulbinder Nazdinri? I don't really know how to say this boss's name, but this boss is, I thought this boss was fantastic for a Yulon build because you can really get a bunch of revivals off, which really helped the raid, but we've kind of evolved past the point where we really need that Mass Dispel. We also have a priest for a backup Mass Dispel, and we all do have dispels to kind of clean things up. We have 2 priests, actually. But I opted to go for Restoral just because, I don't know, I feel like we don't really need to Mass Dispel at this point, but I definitely don't advise going Restoral on this fight. But you'll see we did start a pull timer. I'm just emptying the tank. Also on this fight, I didn't quite spend as much mana as I hoped I would. There's a lot of downtime in this fight where you kind of just you get knocked back basically and you're just flying through the air. So my mana regen does take me above the 25% threshold. So if I would have spent more mana in this pre-pull, if I would have gotten it down to about halfway through this Rising Sun Kick, this icon, I would have done even more HPS because we would have gamed our trinket even more. It looks like we had a reset of the timer. Let's see. Maybe I could skip ahead a bit. Skip ahead a bit more. Here we go. Here's the real timer. Let's go ahead and skip ahead. So yeah, you see I start the fight like at like 40% mana. And you guys know I want to be at 25%. I just wasn't paying attention. It's a little too late to be casting these Enveloping Mists, but unfortunately I don't start this fight exactly. So however well we do in this fight, just know we could have done a little bit better. So we start this fight, and I know that I'm going to need my revival or like my major cooldowns about 3 minutes into the fight, maybe a little, about 3 minutes. So I do send an early Chi-Ji on this first set of orbs, which opens up those first few cages of ads, and you get like all of that heal absorb healing. And the reason why I really like this is because, or I like this fight, is because our cooldowns line up really well. You can kind of like tweak your cooldown. I've done this fight like 5 different times, I think 4 different times maybe, and I've done it a different way every single time, and I really did like sending Chi-Ji there. It doesn't look like it got a lot of value. Like, yeah, we kind of did get a lot of that healing because Chi-Ji is just so bursty and I was able to snipe all that healing. But you'll see here like the other healers kind of catch up on this moment, the knockback. But like I said, dude, this build, it's go, go, go. Like I always have something. I have these Crackling Jade Lightnings to really keep sniping all this healing. So it's like, you're always doing high amounts of HPS. It's not as spiky as Yulon. Like I don't think Chi-Ji can really match those like crazy high like moments of healing, but it like never has downtime on healing. So you'll see here we just stay like high healing the whole fight. It doesn't like go up and then dip and then go up and dip as much. But really on these knockbacks, I really want to get back as quickly as possible. But this boss has a weird thing where you can't like, or at least our raid leader said that you can't like roll double jump basically to get back to the boss. You just have to let the boss knock you and just land where you land. That way you keep all the puddles kind of like clustered, I guess. But also notice like the moment these ads spawn is when I use my Crackling Jade Lightning. So there we did cleave our Crackling Jade Lightning to get the maximum value from that, the maximum amount of damage. But I'm still targeting the boss with those lightnings because the ads will die, and I don't want the ads to die mid-channel of Crackling Jade Lightning. But here we're going to Shayloon's Gift because I will soon be popping Chi-Ji. And you'll notice my Chi-Ji's a little bit late to this healing mechanic, but Honestly, it kind of works out because then it gets to cover the knockback too. So we pop Chi-Chi the moment it comes off cooldown, and we're just cranking because we had those crackling Jade Lightnings, that Shaylun's Gift, the Thunder Focus teas to buy our time for that the Chi-Chi, and now we're coming into Chi-Chi with Shao's Lesson. A Thunder Focus T buff. I roll back in to get back to the boss as quickly as possible, and we are just blasting. So basically, I was a little late on the first mechanic, but those two mechanics come so quickly, the ads spawning and spawning all those debuffs and the knockback, that if you kind of delay your Chi-Chi a little bit there, you can cover both mechanics with it, and that's why like you just see so much healing. But you know, we are 3 healing this fight. There is like 2 moments where you probably want 4 healers, but this is definitely a 3 healer fight. Like even when we progged it, I'm pretty sure we 3 healed it too. So yeah, I mean, once again, these ads spawning, we have our cleaving blackout kicks. I should probably stand a little closer to Soulbinder to make sure that those blackout kicks cleave. But yeah, just really saving our crackling Jade Lightnings for those ads. And then once we're back on the boss, just punching and kicking, trying to maximize our uptime in melee. But you see all 3 of our healers, dude. We're standing at about 7 million HPS. Our other healers, like I do think Nico, honestly, Resto Shaman and Presovoker are very blasty, like they're very spiky healers. So being able to keep up with those profiles as a more steady healer is like really solid. Well, I guess Resto Shaman's pretty steady too with their Whispering Waves healing. Yeah, you see my rotation, just Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick. I do Vivify as well. Since you're Rising Sun kicking so often, every now and then, like if someone is threatened, like right now, Lorelei or whatever the rogue's name, I could have Vivified him. Scott here, I could Vivify. You definitely do want to not let people die. Obviously, that's your main goal as a healer. So if you see someone drop threateningly low, you definitely want to Vivify them. Actually, there, Citadel Goust, the Demon Hunter, he did. I think he got hit by some mechanic there because he got pretty one-shot. But now the boss is dying. We had our Chi-Chi come up just again. So maybe if I send my Chi-Chi about 5 seconds earlier, we'd be able to get a little bit more value on the second Chi-Chi and get the full Chi-Chi value here, because you're going to see the boss is going to die about, you know, a third or 2/3 of the way into that Chi-Chi. So we end that fight with 7.15 million HPS. And yeah, dude, this fight is so much fun. This fight is so fun with Chi-Chi because, like I said, you get to cleave those blackout kicks, cleave those crackling Jade Lightnings, and that was a 98 percentile. So, look, you know, if you're trying to say that this build cannot compare to Yu'lon, just think of how many Yu'lon players there were below this kill, okay? And then come back to me. Let's get to the next fight, which is going to be, let's do Fractalus next. All right, here we're on Fractalus, and Fractalus, I don't know what has happened. I think they, like, hotfixed something or buffed something in Fractalus. Our guild has been... This fight has been like amping up these past few weeks. I don't know what it is. Maybe we're just like getting sloppy with it, letting the weak ores play the game for us a little too much. But once again, this is just yet another fight where the Ancient Teachings profile, where it splits that healing evenly among 5 people, is fantastic, like absolutely fantastic, because you're gonna get so much value from every single punch and kick. Same with your harmonic surges; they're gonna be splitting among those people, because you see here, 5 people get the walls. Well, I guess 4 people get the walls plus a tank, and you just heal so effectively with your base rotation. So I send my Chi-Chi on that first one. I try to time it where the moment those walls are about to hit my allies, that's when I press Chi-Chi. Then the moment they get hit by them, take that initial burst, is when I press that first blackout kick to snipe all that healing as much as I can. And then from there, it's just Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist, trying to blanket those 4 players with Enveloping Mist as quickly as possible, and then Chi-Chi even handles the next mechanic. So you see, we start off this fight to like very well, because this build performed so well on this fight, and you're going to see that the even in our downtime, you know, like the time between our Chi-Chis and all of our major cooldowns, we do so much healing. And here you see Nico actually got hit by a double stack again, so he goes up to 4 stacks. So I called, like, you know, cover Nico, help Nico, and we get Bark Skin and Time Dilation on him. So shout out to my co-healers, dude. Muya, Nico, Shamrock, like seriously some of the best healers I've ever had the chance to play with. So shout out to them. But yeah, these bombs are very scary. You're going to see that sometimes I stack with someone, we kind of get jumbled in melee a bit. And it gets a little awkward, but that's when I save my defensives for. So you see there, I pop Fort Brew. And we're coming up here on the next sets of walls. You see 4 more people get that debuff. Actually, 5 get the debuff. And that's when I send a Crackling Jade Lightning the moment that those walls hit to really snipe or like slam the boss with damage and really funnel healing into those 5 health bars. But now we have about 30 seconds on Chi-Ji, so our next Chi-Ji is going to line up with the big bombs, the big AoE circles that we have to stack. So I'm just really trying to use my Thunder Focus Teas and just punch, punch, kick in this downtime. And you'll see here, I do Thunder Focus Tea and Enveloping Mist. Unfortunately, he does like pop AMS and get into a Spirit Link the moment I go to Enveloping Mist him, so shame on him for playing well, but... yeah, we're just really just cycling these same buttons. You'll see here we have 10 stacks of Shayloons ready to go. I pop Shayloons, I put down my Jade Fire Stomp, and then I am ready the moment these walls are going to hit is when I'm going to pop Chi-Ji. So we pop Chi-Ji, bam, big blackout kick, and yeah, now we are absolutely rolling. You see we're just going to climb even further. So this build... I could say it a billion times. Look, at this point, I'm just trying to convince you. Just try it, man. Don't let anyone tell you that Chi-Ji doesn't have what it takes. You can definitely put up big numbers with Chi-Ji. I think at the beginning of the season, I mean, I'm sure Yu'lon just sims really well because Yu'lon or simming kind of works like in a vacuum, I guess. So it's hard to really see like. I don't know. I don't know. Just in practice, Chi-Ji can absolutely still blast. So if you miss the Chi-Ji days of yore, you know, then now's the time, man. Like I said, don't let anyone tell you not to try it. Because once again, you're seeing here, this is, I keep saying it, this is such a good healing profile for this season. Like, there are so many fights like this where, you know, 5 players at a time take damage. Here you're seeing that a lot of people are taking damage. This is the big scary mechanic. I do get revival off, or I get it up 1 second too late there. If I had revival 1 second earlier, I think we could have saved a few people. But this is like that big overlap that wiped us almost last week. I think something happens there that's like, it's just like so much damage. So this is like a near wipe. We do lose quite a few people, unfortunately. But I mean, you know, if I were playing Yu'lon, I'd probably have been drinking a mana tea at that time. So who knows, right? Who knows? Here we get the knockback again. These are the bombs. Everyone's taking big damage. I'm just trying to keep melee uptime super high, keeping that healing flowing, and then I can get back to snipe, like not sniping, but like really covering those few people with a debuff because they are the most threatened. And see there, we were able to keep them up. And then the boss is at 7%. I'm coming up on my next Chi-Ji again, so we're just going to blast again on these next few people with the dots. And then the boss is going to be dead if we can survive. You're going to see here it actually gets really close. We're going to get another bomb set, and 2 people dart onto me. So watch this. I guess we're still in our Chi-Ji. Punch, punch, kick, enveloping mist. Here comes the bombs. Watch 2 people's circles go onto me last second, but the boss died before that damage hit us. But man, that was a doozy of a fight. An absolute doozy of a fight, but we were able to hang on and get that kill. 5.9 million HPS. Let's see where that landed on the parses. A 94. Like I said, I don't care about parses. I really don't. But it is a good way to kind of, when you're playing a different build from everyone, it kind of is a way to compare this build to that build. It's just one metric though, so it's not like, you know, absolute, but it's data, right? You know, so 94, very solid. Let's get into the next fight, which is Soul Hunters. All right, so Soul Hunters is like the big healer intensive fight this tier. I want you guys to notice, although it shows me as a tank spec, it's because I swapped into Brewmaster and then back to Mistweaver to drain my mana really quickly. But we are still 5 healing these bosses. Like our guild, we probably could do some parse runs and probably drop down to like 4 healers, 3 healers on some fights. But most of the pretty, you know, iffy fights, we still 4 heal. We're still 5 healing Soul Hunters. So even with the 5 heal, we're still able to crank. So we're about 5 seconds on the timer. I do pop my Chi-Ji like a little early actually because I want to line it up with that first intermission, which happens like exactly at 2 minutes into the fight. So I definitely want to pop Chi-Ji like 2 to 3 seconds before. With Yu'lon, you'd pop it about like 5 to 6 seconds before pull. And yeah, you see here we're just in a Chi-Ji ramp. The moment you pull this fight, it is like go, go, go. Like everyone's blasting. 3 healers pop cooldowns. Our Resto Druid was also doing a little mini ramp before the pool, so we are just blasting. You see, golly, man, it takes like what is that, 40 million HPS at least to stay alive there is crazy. But this fight, our tanks do fantastic. Shout out to our tanks. Basically, one of the bosses jumps away, and you have to pull the other bosses to it. And they do such a good job of that we are able to maintain like really good uptime on hitting all three bosses. So Blackout Kick gets to hit all three. So this boss isn't like as much of a, you know, amazing fight for this build in the sense that like it's not always like just 5 people. Like right here we have like 3 people rotting to the dot because 3 people have that soaking dot at a time. But then there's other mechanics kind of add to that number, so we do have full people to heal all the time, but you make up for that with having 3 people to cleave your Crackling Jade Lightnings on and your Blackout Kicks on. And one of these soaks, so I get the soak, but one of these soaks I don't accidentally, I soak one of the first few ones, and then I get the next one. So it's really scary, but I'm able to live it somehow. But that's probably going to come up. But here I'm just trying to stay on the inside of the bosses. That way I'm not hit by that I-beam. And over here I actually see Scott is dropping low, and he's one of the soakers way out in Narnia. So I run out and heal him, taking myself out of melee to do so. So you can still be a team player with this build. It's not all just like turn off your HUD or your UI and just like punch and kick. But you see here we're coming into this this intermission, and you see Yulan's or Chi-Chi's still about a few seconds not ready. So I use those few seconds to get to position, and then I pop Shaylun's gift, and then you just get to sit here and like backpedal. You just get to backpedal. You can even sidestep if the 2 people that I'm linked to, which are I think Telethar and Goust, if one of the orbs slips through them, then I'll sidestep there. But I'm just Chi-Chi blasting. I'm just punch, punch, kick, enveloping mist, punch, punch, kick, enveloping mist. Whenever Rising Sun kicks off, I hit it too to extend the enveloping mist. And there you see, that's really sets us up nicely. But that is still a thing that you can do with Yulan for sure. Like anything that Chi-Chi does, Yulan could do probably. But I really like Chi-Chi in those intermissions too, because having to sit there and stutter step with Yulan is very frustrating. Very frustrating to get the full uptime. You have to like ask your evokers to give you the move while casting button, and it's really annoying. But Chi-Chi's really nice because you just get to do amazing healing while not really losing any HPS due to your movement. Here I'm stacked on a tank, but man, barely able to get out of the melee to not get like clobbered there. Yeah, once again, just this is a 2-minute fight. 100%. But you see here I have Shaylun's at 10 stacks, so I want to send that soon because I also have Revival coming. So here we're going to Shaylun's and then possibly hit Revival. Yes, we hit Revival, and boom. That's how you line up your spells, is you really want to Shaylun's before you're Chi-Chi and your Revival. Or if you have a moment where you have plenty of Shaylun's gift stacks and you have plenty of time before you're going to need to Revival or Chi-Chi, you can also send Shaylun's for like double Crackling Jade Lightnings or double Jade Empowerments if you need to. That totally works too. But really, just using on this fight, I definitely want to be using my Thunder Focus Teas on Enveloping Mists. On hopefully some of the people that have that Soaking Dot, because they're going to be the most vulnerable ones. But also, it's also worth noting that we are doing plenty of damage here. We do actually go down a healer coming into this intermission. This intermission is pretty scary, but our guild is really good at this kind of fight just because they keep adding them into the raid. So here, I legit will just stand still. And if I get overlapped with someone, I will pop a defensive, but I just want to stand still and just crank HPS. And if they want to move off of me, they can, but I'll take these little back steps trying to get out if there's like room. But Chi-Chi allows me to do that. I just get to kind of like move around while still getting the maximum HPS. So yeah, I love this fight. I love this fight now that I've swapped to, they're accidentally hard-casted and envelopments. I don't know why I did that, but I think my fingers were moving too quick for my brain. It happens when you have a slow brain. But ever since I've swapped to Chi-Chi, this fight is so much more enjoyable. Like, I absolutely love this fight. But also I want to note that, like, on this fight, those little green arrows, they would kill me a lot on an early prog, so I went into Bigwigs and turned on a sound alert for them, and it has really helped. Also note, I am at 60% mana, which I think here I was getting, I think we got Symbol of Hope from our Holy Priest, and I also think I got an Innervate at some point because I am low mana. I should have communicated with our our Resto Druid, not a Resto Druid, he will not innervate me, but but our Balance Druid. And also next week we have another Priest Decadence who's a very good Discipline Priest player. I think next week we're going to let Mesh get a damage kill on this, and we're going to go the Disc Priest, which will be nice because then I will not get Symbol of Hope. There we won't get mana back, you know. We don't want mana. But here we come into the final intermission as the bosses are dying. So the only one that's going to be left, I believe, is the intermission that we're going to get. You see Varian Blood Wraith is at 8%. So I think we're going to kill the other two, try to execute them down. So that's why I'm on them. And try to leave just Blood Wraith. And then now that this boss is dying, we have Revival ready. Send Revival. We're about to have Chi-Ji ready. It's getting a little sus. We did lose a tank there. But now we have Chi-Ji for this last intermission if it were to go long. But yeah, the boss at 0%, so don't even get a full Chi-Ji in. But yeah, we still, dude, this fight is so much fun. We were down a healer most of the time, but we survived like the first half with a healer. And Muya just does so much healing. He's such a good player that like it's almost like we had him the whole fight, you know what I mean? But yeah, this fight is really fun to heal with Chi-Ji. Highly recommend. Also, having all of that mobility while healing really just lets you just feel safe here when all that crap is just flying at you because there's so much to dodge on this fight. But y'all, I am so happy that I swapped to Chi-Ji. I have enjoyed this tier probably 10 times more than before when I was playing Yu'lon. I just wasn't having as much fun, admittedly. But now that I've swapped to Chi-Ji and Raid, it feels like I'm playing old school Mistweaver again. That got me to love this spec. So if you have swapped off Mistweaver, and now that, you know, you're probably tired of Legion Remix already, you want to give like an alt a try, come back home. Come back to Mistweaver. Try Chi-Ji. This build is a ton of fun, especially if you have the trinket from Fractalus, the Diamantine Void Core. But yeah, this build is super fun. It cranks. Oh, also, for those that care, the parse here, is this the Soul Hunters? Yeah, it was an 85. 85, which, you know, here we're competing with people who are even like 3 healing. So, yeah. Dude, so much fun. Highly recommend. Give it a shot. Tell me what you think. And also let me know if you want to see any more videos on this. Maybe like a little tips and tricks if you're playing this build, I guess. Maybe something like that. And make sure you like the video because these videos are to a very niche targeted audience. So I'd really appreciate it if you like it. Share it with your friends that play Mistweaver. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any Mistweaver content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, guys.